Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog. So let's get to it. I say I'm gonna take some time off, y'all. All the cashiers, they was like, somebody stole her truck. It's like you can hear it all throughout the store. This Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Detroit, Love and Marriage Huntsville, our book 4, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get to it, shall we? Guys, first story up, let's talk about our girl Joy Reid, whose show The Read Out was canceled by MSNBC kind of last minute. We didn't see this one coming, but I guess maybe we should have, considering where we are as a country right now. They canceled her show. They said that they were doing it because there was a shakeup at the network, that they were trying to change into a more progressive way, basically saying that they don't want to talk about the shit that Joy is talking about anymore. Okay, that they are trying to get the heat of the politics out of their, off of their show and kind of calm it down. That's not what they said, but that's kind of how I'm feeling, because her show was replaced by a show called The Weekend, which is hosted by, I think on Saturday and Sunday, the show already comes on, is hosted by Alicia Menendez, Michael Steele, and Simone Sanders Townsend. Not so much a political show, more so, I guess, about, I don't even know what the show would be about, okay? But they've labeled it as a progressive show on the network. You guys know, like I know, they got rid of that woman because she was handing it to YSAP, and they don't want to have that friction, especially with YSAP being in office right now. I'm telling you, if Kamala Harris would have continued to be in office, if she would have won the seat, Joy would still have a job today. The fact that Kamala did not win, the fact that you now have YSAP, who I told you guys that even if he doesn't go after certain people, people are going to go after his enemies for him because they don't want to have the wrath of him fall on them. Okay? And so Joy is just one of those women that are of many that are going to be affected by this. Okay? I told you guys that he has his list of people, and they are all getting affected. Now, right after the show, right after it was announced that her show was being canceled, YSAP went on a tirade and said that she was a mentally obnoxious racist. And the show was saying that there were a lot of prominent progressives who were calling for the show's cancellation. Okay, we don't feel like hearing that no more. So that's what MSNBC said. Her last show was last night. And she started off the show talking about resistance, talking about fighting back, fighting the machine, fighting the things that are going on in our world right now, not being so discouraged and feeling like there's nothing that can be done. They even had some of the other hosts on MSNBC coming out and talking and also commenting on resistance and all that. And then at the end, she just basically told everybody not to stop fighting. I remember when she got that job, she was replacing, Chris, what was his name? I put it in my notes. Yeah, Chris Matthews. She was replacing his show back in 2020. Remember, he had been pissed us off pretty good. And so she ended up getting that show, and she's been fine in the position. But this last round of election, and all that, it did it again. So I'm not really surprised. She said that she went through all the emotions, hurt, anger, disappointment, guilt. I mean, because not only did she lose her job, but everybody that worked with her lost their jobs as well. And listen, Joy is going to be fine. I'm sure, just like what happened with Don Lemon, she will land on her feet. She'll probably end up getting something of her own, where she is in control of whether or not her show exists, not relying on a network or something like that. We'll still see Joy Reid. She will still be there. Won't be that big old paycheck she was getting from MSNBC, though. That's something that she'll have to build back up to, but I'm sure she'll be able to do that. There's, even with a lot of people that don't like Joy, there are many, many people who support her and like her. And so I do believe she'll be okay. But man, it's too bad. It's too bad. But it's going to be more of this. It'll be more of this. We'll start seeing many, many other shows. I feel like now, in retrospect, I feel like many of the networks and, you know, were already in the process of getting rid of a lot of black shows beforehand, in anticipation of YSAP being in here, anticipation of DEI, affirmative action, all that stuff going away. You know, they were slowly doing it then so that now it wouldn't look like they was just coming to what YSAP was doing, that they already was going to do that. And that's why they did it some years ago. But I still feel like it has all to do with YSAP being in office. Okay? So just, you know, I sure hate that for Joy, but like I said, she gonna be fine, girl. Hold your head up as well. You gonna be just fine. Wherever you land, we gonna be there too, in support. All right? And let's move on to the next story. Karen Bass has fired not the police chief, the fire chief out there in Los Angeles County, Kristen Crowley, because sis basically been difficult. Now, we know that when the fire started up, there was all this back and forth because Karen Bass was not even in the country. She had went out of town, and she kind of went as the fires were getting started. And so it kind of looked like Karen Bass didn't care about her constituents, the people that had put her in office. And the fire chief did not help, because she was just like, you know, when it happened, she was basically saying, like, this ain't my fault. I don't have enough people. They cut a lot of my finances. They cut a lot of my budget. And so it is what it is, basically. Okay. So there was a lot of fighting at first when it first happened, but it was like, we got a fire to take care of. We can't be fighting. The administration cannot be fighting right now. Let's get to that after the fires is done. So they both decided to put down the boxing gloves, and they agreed, let's get through these fires, and then we'll address, you know, where shit went wrong afterwards. So that's where we addressing the where it went wrong now. Karen was like, bitch, got to go. Because she was just like, not only did she not tell me that the fires were starting up, you guys have to remember, a lot of people, I understand that, you know, the person at the top is the one that gets blamed. Okay? Because the person at the top, even though they don't do the jobs, they have to put the people in place that's going to do the job that needs to be done, and then they have those people inform them of what's going on. So as the mayor of Los Angeles County, you know, Karen Bass ain't gonna be knowing what the fuck is going on when it's fires or if it's some damn riot and all. She don't know that shit right away. That's something that the fire department would know right away. That's something that the police department would know right away. She has to be told. Otherwise, she won't know. Okay? So that's what happened there. She went out of town, was gone. The fire chief didn't tell her what was going on. Maybe the fire chief didn't realize that it was going to get as big as it and go as fast as it did, because they said that the shit was spreading like the length of a football field in a couple of seconds, like in a minute, because of the winds being so high. So, you know, shit happened really, really fast. So I'm gonna give the fire chief that, you know, before she looked up, you know, she was like, it's a, you know, a patch of grass on fire over here, and 10 minutes later, the whole damn city is on fire, you know? So I understand how these things can get out of you just, you know, but what you need to understand is that Karen Bass is not the fire chief. So she can't be held responsible ultimately for something that she would not know naturally, you know? So she said after the fact, the chief, you know, in her funky little moods and all that, did not want to write up any of the reports for the investigation so that they can investigate and kind of see where shit went wrong. Like, basically, the chief was not trying to cooperate with Karen Bass and her office. So Karen Bass was like, you know what, pack that shit up and take it on. You ain't got to go home, but you got to what? Get the hell out of here. Did you guys know that the fire chief had sent home 1,000 firefighters that day that the fire happened? Now, I don't know if she like officially sent them home, or did they just mean that they let them get off of their shift and go home? Like, you should have kept them on because there was an emergency, but you let everybody leave at the end of the day, and then the shit was on fire and everybody had to try to get back to work and all that. Yeah, so, yeah, Karen Bass was like, see, you wouldn't want to be. Those communities out in LA, they just trying to build their life back up. Child. Them fires was quite devastating for the city. But yeah, anyway, that's that on that. Kristen Crowley, she's going to be updating her resume and looking for a new job very, very soon. All right, next story. Tony Buzbee, the 1-800 lawyer that Jay-Z and Puffy's lawyers so fondly call him. We had gotten word the other day that he was denied being able to practice in the Southern District of New York after this whole fiasco with Jay-Z and Puffy, namely Jay-Z, because the Puffy cases that he has, you know, he's saying that he still wants to file those cases. So the other day, somebody, I think it was that Megan Kuniv girl that we're seeing more and more of lately, but she said, I think that she was the one that said that he was denied, she had tweeted that he was denied the ability to practice law in Southern District of New York City. So he ended up putting out a statement after that and saying that's absolutely incorrect. He posted his paperwork, I guess, that gives him the you know, that okays him or allows him to practice law in New York. He said he has perfect standing in New York. He has no problems filing cases in New York. Apparently there was just some kind of mix up in the paperwork. He was supposed to do something he didn't do, but he's good with the bar in New York, and he will still be filing those cases and trying those cases in New York, even though he prefers to be in Texas, which is where he's from. Well, he's in Houston, I believe. He will definitely go to New York and file all these 100 and something cases that he got against Puffy. Okay, just cause the shit didn't work out with Jay-Z, he said one monkey ain't stopped no show, and that he gonna continue on. He said he had a lot to say in this situation. He ain't said nothing about what happened with Jay-Z, but this time he said that you need to not believe everything you read on the internet, excuse me, because most of it is pure bunk anyway. Okay. So yeah, Tony Buzbee said, yeah, don't worry about it. He's still fixing to take his ass up to New York and try to file these cases so that he can make sure that Puffy don't see the light of day. We know that Puffy's case is coming up, excuse me, in May, somewhere around Cinco de Mayo. And side note, while we talking about lawsuits and all that, I did see that case that came up where it's saying that A$AP Rocky and Rihanna was suing Jay-Z and Beyonce. Definitely not true. It said training document on there. Apparently in wherever they were, whatever is in charge of filing cases like that, they do training. You know, they train their people and they create like these fake cases just to maybe show people how to upload them onto the docket or show them how to do this or that, but it's all part of training. So somebody had just came up and thought it was fun to put them as the names, but it ended up getting on social media and people thought that it was real and that A$AP Rocky and Rihanna was suing Jay-Z and Beyonce. It turns out it was not real. It was a training document. It was never supposed to be sent. Somebody was just combing through and saw it and posted it. And then of course, when you look at the paperwork, it said A$AP Rocky, which is, his name is not A$AP. Okay. His name is not Mr. Rocky. So the fact that they didn't even have his real name, I was just like, yeah, it was pretty clear that that wasn't real anyway, you know, but people just was excited to know, oh my God, is Rihanna suing Beyonce? Because that's basically what it would have been. Rihanna suing Beyonce. Or that's what people would have assumed anyway. Okay. Anyway, getting back to it though, yeah, Tony Buzbee said, don't worry about it. He's still fixing to try to sue Puffy and get all this money out of that man for his victims. Okay. So don't get too excited. He gonna be back in New York soon. Also, while we're talking about Puffy, one of his lawyers withdrew from the team. He was not a lead attorney. You guys know that Mark Agnifilo, is that his name? Agnifilo? Mark Agnifilo is actually the lead attorney on the case. This guy, Anthony Richo, was one of the attorneys on the team. He said that he cannot do this. He cannot do it. There is no way and under any circumstances can I represent this man in court. So he is off of the case. Okay. And again, there are 5 other lawyers on the team. So, they don't anticipate this being a setback in any kind of way. They're still moving forward. All right, next story. We've got to send up another rest in peace, you guys. This one is for Biggie's mother. Okay, the notorious B.I.G. Christopher Wallace, his mother Violeta Wallace, she passed sometime around the end of last week. I'm sorry, I didn't get the exact date. They said it was from natural causes. And even though she was 78 years old, I was like, 78 is still kind of young to say natural causes. You don't naturally die. I mean, I guess you do. I guess you do. When they say natural causes to me, that's usually just it's none of your damn business and don't be all in our business like that. Okay. Which, I mean, is fine. You ain't got to be telling people how somebody passed. But anyway, she was in hospice care at her home. So she's been ill if she was in hospice care. Her home in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. Yeah, sad, you guys. Now, we knew who Miss Wallace was because after her son, Biggie, who was only 24 years old when he was killed, you guys. But after he died, you know, she made it a point to make sure that she not only kept his name alive and positively alive, but she also handled his estate, made sure that, you know, it was something left for his children that were still here, because, you know, he had 2 children. They are both grown now. Tiana is 31, which was his first daughter. That's the one he was talking about putting the carrots in the baby girl's ear. And CJ, which is his son that he has with Faith, who's 28 years old. So she wanted to make sure that they had something from the legacy of their father. And, you know, he's 24 years old. I'm sure he hadn't put none of that stuff in place. So she did that and just made sure that she kept his name and his music and his estate and his and all of the things that he achieved. Like, it didn't just go washed away. You know, she was there. And we heard recently that she wanted to slap Puffy when she found out about all the stuff that Puffy was doing. She said in a statement that she wanted to slap him. Okay, so she was mad about it and didn't stand for it. She was praying for Cassie and all that. So yeah, you guys, 78 years old. She is now joining her only child in glory. Leaves behind her grandkids and a host of other family and friends and loved ones around. Rest in peace to Ms. Violeta Wallace. All right, you guys, Karen Huger. Now, she has completed a month-long program to address her addiction. And she's also working on getting through, like, I guess, stopping. Maybe there might have been some addiction issues, not only with alcohol, but also with antidepressants. They said that she's still having a time trying to get through a former rape that happened to her back when she was in college. You guys know that she's talked about it on the show. So she went to this rehabilitation center. She was there for 30 days. She has completed it. And now she is hoping that that is something that will save her from doing any jail time. Now, the prosecutors want her to do jail time because they feel like Karen Huger has been playing with them, ain't been feeling like, you know, that she'd been getting a slap on the wrist. And now they over it. Do you guys know that this was the 4th DUI for Karen? Now, I did not realize it was 4. I knew that she had 1, and I thought that this would have been the 2nd one, but no, they're saying that this is the 4th one. Now, the other 3 that she had were, I think they said they happened between 2006 and 2011. So it's been a long time since she's did it, but it looks like she might have picked up the habit again. And, you know, the prosecutors is just like, no, we're not going to keep on doing this. Now, she faces 2 years, but they're only asking for 6 months. I have a feeling that Karen is going to do some jail time. Okay. They were like that rehabilitation center she went to, you know, they was like, made it seem like it was like real cushy and, you know, wasn't really feeling like she was sacrificing anything because it was spa services and it was real nice, and, you know, she's got all of this come and go as she please and blah blah blah. They was like, no, she's not gonna learn until she gets her rights taken away, until she's not able to be free any longer. So I have a feeling that she's gonna be in jail. I don't know if it's gonna be 6 months. maybe they may give her a couple of months, and then, you know, the jails are so crowded, she'll probably do even less time than that. But I think that they are going to sentence something to her. We'll see. We'll see. But 4 damn DUIs, Karen. Oh my God. And for her to act like she ain't did nothing wrong. See, I think that that's also one of the problems that why the prosecution now is just like, we not trying to be soft on her, because she was on that show and making it seem like she ain't did shit. Okay. And then when we saw that video, or the way girl, you was, I mean, fucked up, you know. So they over it, and I don't think they're gonna give the lady a break. We'll see. Her case is coming up, I think, in a couple of weeks. March. Did I put it on here? March. It's in March. It's soon. Okay. And we'll know. But yeah, I kind of have a feeling they're going to give her some jail time. What y'all think? Y'all let me know. And hopefully Karen has learned her lesson. Okay. She has a lot to lose. You know, and it ain't worth it. So hopefully she stops that. Okay. Next story. Right before I came out here to do this video, you guys, I saw this story. Raymond Santana, who was one of the members of the Exonerated Five, just announced today that he's officially entering his name for candidacy for the New York City Council District number 8. Okay. He was born and raised in that district. That is the district where he was accused of raping the girl in the Central Park jogger case back in the 80s. He served 7 years, hadn't done nothing. You guys saw the movie. You guys know the story. They was coerced and scared into saying that they had raped the girl, even though they hadn't. And people knew that they didn't, but they basically built the story around them, the case around them, and made it, and implied them, and made it look like they were the ones, but they weren't. So finally, there was a confession by the actual person that did it, and also the DNA matched him and none of the others. So after 7 years, they were all let out of jail. That's why we call them the Exonerated Five. They used to be called the Central Park Five. Well, Raymond is the only one that has decided that he want to go into politics, and I was just like, because I saw that on Ice Cream Convos today, and I was just like, why would he want to do that to himself? With the way that the country is right now. Okay, but maybe he feels like he's being called from God, y'all. I don't know. I know there's people that really want to make a difference. I just was just like, why? I mean, I guess somebody has to do it. Somebody has to do it. So thank God that we do still have people out there that still wants to fight the good fight, even though, you know, what they face. So, I mean, good for him. I didn't even know the man was back in New York. I thought he was still here in Georgia. But after, I guess, him and Delicious broke up, you know, he took it on back up there. And he said he's going to be running for office up there. Also, we found out that he is going to be having a book coming out. It's called Pushing Hope, an illustrated memoir of survival. And it's scheduled to be out at the end of the year in October. I think they said October 28th. So, interesting. Okay, I'm actually interested in the book because they said it was an illustrated book that he's working with an artist by the name of Keith Kenny Brown. I feel like that's a typo, but I don't know what it was supposed to be. But anyway, he's working with this artist, and apparently this artist is going to be putting illustrations in the book. Okay, so there's going to be, so kind of different than what we would be used to. I'm intrigued. You can pre-order it now, but it won't be out until October. Okay, but yeah, congratulations to him. I mean, I hope that, you know, he wants that seat, so I hope he gets it, and I hope he's ready for all of it, because New York is a whole nother. Child, there's so much going on in New York, and even with the mayor there, and a lot of what's the word? A lot of wrongness in New York. So he gonna be, that's a lot there. I wish the man luck. I hope it work out for him, child. We'll see. Y'all make sure y'all, the midterm elections, when they come up, that you guys vote for him. And I guess many of us need to be in the damn offices voting for a whole bunch of shit. Child, anyway, let's move on to the next. Clarissa Shields was suspended in Michigan because they say that she tested positive for marijuana in her system. She said that she's never smoked marijuana and that she's gonna take this shit all the way to the court, because apparently she took this test where they swabbed, I think they swabbed either her mouth or something before her fight, and that's when they found out that she had traces of marijuana in her system. But like I said, she said that she's never had marijuana. So they also did, after the fight, they did a urine test, which is usually the more accurate test, they said. And in the urine test, it said negative. So she was just going to go by that, but they are trying to go by the swab test, the first test. And those have, I guess, those don't have a higher percentage of accuracy. So she was just like, no, we need to go by the urine. Michigan don't want to go by the urine, so she's gonna go to court. Now, this does not strip her of her title. You know, we know she just recently won a title. This does not strip her from being able to fight. She just cannot fight in Michigan. And you know, she's from Michigan, right? She's from Detroit, right? So I'm sure she wants to be able to fight in her own home state. So she gonna get that shit straight. But she was like, no. I ain't never smoked nothing a day in my life, and we is not going by this. Something that she had must have had traces in, or maybe it could have just been a flawed test. Okay, that's probably most likely what it was. It was a flawed test, and if it was going to show up in the urine, then that would have been one that, you know, they could have went by better. So Clarissa said, ain't nothing. I'll see you in court. Next story. Lastly, you guys, the Eagles have decided that they will not be going to the White House to where is my shoe, child? They will not be going to the White House to have Big Mac meals with your stupid ass president. They've turned down for a second time a visit to the White House. All right, and that's that on that. All right, you guys, I got to get off of here, child. I'm surprised ain't nobody looking for me. We do this every single week, so make sure you thumbs up the video, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back.